Welcome back to my Johnny 5 1/3 scale reboot rebuild. Now we're back again to complete the project. Stay tuned and watch the update of where we are today from 5 years ago. It's all happening right now. Okay folks, back again with another update of my Johnny 5 build that I started working on 5 years ago. As you remember, 5 years ago, I put this thing together and it was gorgeous. It was just pretty and it was just nice. Up until I tried to use the remote control pieces. As soon as I did that, I had a catastrophic failure, could not control the device. The Arduino programming and all those stuff has some bugs in it, and long story short, the darn thing just fell apart and it broke. I tried fixing it one more time and it broke again. By that time, I was just so frustrated from all the time and money spent on this thing that I just decided to put it aside until technology caught up to me and maybe we can just revisit this. Well, that was 5 years ago. The poor thing is in pieces. Talk about breaking the rules about no disassemble Johnny 5. Poor thing is more than just disassemble. This thing just broke. Have I known what I know today, I would have never ever printed this in FDM and I would have gone another route. Maybe figure out find a buddy or somebody who had a CNC machine and maybe cut the parts in aluminum and built one similar to the life size of the Johnny 5. And that probably would have worked out better than all the time spent on this thing. But I wanted to show you why it's taking me so darn long to get back into this. I mean, if your baby broke like this after spending so much time, you too will be depressed and angry and frustrated. So, it is what it is. No fault of anybody. It's just the way things work. And this model, for whatever reason, is just top heavy. And the material is just not strong enough to hold the weight. So I'm going to have to redesign some parts, maybe beast up a couple of things to try to see if I can get a working model out of this and try to salvage whatever I can out of these parts. Here's the head. I might be able to salvage some parts from here and the electronics. Yeah, it's just a mess. Here's another piece. The wheels came out really nice, but then over time, and when this thing was standing, just sitting on the bench, minding its own business, this part just snapped. It's just not strong enough. I don't know if the resin counterpart is going to be as strong. I'm going to try to thicken it up a little bit. We'll see. Only time will tell. All right. So enough whining. So I went back and printed my first model piece in resin. Anyways, long story short, I printed this piece, and when I was press fitting the first piece, it just snapped here because I was tapping it down, trying to press fit it in there, and it's just not designed for that. It just broke. So I went back and beefed up this piece right here, and then I was able to press fit it in there nice and neat, nice and straight, so that I can have a working part. So I'm hoping that now with the resin pieces that I have, it'll just be strong enough to hold the weight. This is what I wanted to show you, why it's taking me so long to work on this, and I just abandoned it and decided to work on other projects just to clear my head. I will give you an update as I progress on reprinting some of the new parts. We'll see how this goes. I'm going to give it one more last try, and if not, I guess I'll make a statue out of it, or maybe I'll just throw it in the trash. I don't know yet. So this is my first piece that I printed in resin. I managed to get the bearings in there and press fit everything. Everything was working flawlessly. I also beefed up this piece right here with that controls the way the hip and everything goes up and down for the tiptoe. Made a special washer for this piece so that when we put this piece over it, there's some support there, and the thing will not wobble as much, because before it was wobbling way too much and I just didn't like that. So I figured I designed this small piece and try this out, see how it turns out. As you can see, I was able to print both of these two pieces in resin, and I was able to press fit the bearings in there really well. I also had to drill and tap the holes so that when I put the screws on, it won't break the part. We'll see how things go with that. And I started also working on the hip joint. This piece right here is still the FDM original piece from when the robot first broke 5 years ago. And this new piece right here is all resin. So I'm going to give you a demonstration of how well the actuator is working. There is no binding, and it has a good response. So I'm pretty stoked about how this part turned out. It's giving me some hope that at some point I'll be able to finish this project and call it a day. So I'm gonna have to redesign the whole electronic circuit system for this robot, because for whatever reason the Arduino is just not working out the way I will like it to work, and I don't want to break this thing again when I put it back together. So I'm going a different route, and we'll see how that system turns out. I just ordered a few parts for regular RC parts, and I'm going to be using a FlySky controller, and we'll see. Have to still figure out quite a few things, but things are moving along, folks. I've been working for the past few weeks on a prototyping of the hands because I did not like the ones that I have for this model originally. So I redesigned the hands, and this is just a prototype. As you can see, there's a little bit of imperfection on the top. This is just the prototyping. The actual good parts are actually curing on my wash and cure station, and they're almost done, and they came up really nice. So this is what I came up with for the hands for the 1/3 scale, and I ordered some special screws and things so that I can put some articulation on it and put the buttons on it and have it look as realistic as possible without it breaking and stuff. I'm pretty much all over the place with this project rebuild. I started working on the bottom piece of the robot, then I jumped up to the middle section. I did some detail work there, and then I jumped back to the hands and started prototyping the hands and doing a bunch of different changes to it. I think the last thing I'm gonna do is the head. I've got some ideas on how to redo the head and make it more interesting. Today I wanted to show the progress I've been making for the last 3 days on the head assembly and the improved neck. I made some modifications to it, so I still got some things to figure out with the servos, but for the most part, the head is functional. Let me just give you a quick demonstration. I still got to center the servo because I haven't done that. I just put this together loosely so that I can show you where I'm at. Nothing's glued together, so that's another factor as to why the head is a little jittery, because nothing's holding it in place so that when the rotor spins it, it remains in place. So here's the original head that I printed 5 years ago for this project on the 1/3 scale. And I felt that back in those days, the head was just too small for that model. I mean, the body's pretty large and the track assembly is pretty large, and the head just didn't match correctly. It wasn't proportionate to the body. So this time around, I decided to scale it up just a little bit, enough so that it shows some improvement as to the size of the head in relation to the body, because it just was too small and I wanted something to look proportionate. So if you can see the back cover, how small it is on the little one, on this one, it's pretty substantial. You can notice the difference. You can tell this is Johnny 5, and you can tell it's a lot larger, and yet it still remains light enough so that there is no weight issue. I just put an order for the servos for the eyebrows. We'll see how that turns out. And I also have to figure out how I'm gonna improvise for the eyes and the movement inside them. It's a work in progress, people. Okay, people, Back again with another update on my 1/3 scale Johnny 5 rebuild. Today I wanted to show the progress on the chest assembly and the arms and some of the paint detailing that I've already started doing. I know I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself by doing that, but I'm just trying to get myself excited and motivated enough to continue working on this project. And for me, this is it. The excitement for me is in the detail. This is what I came up so far. I painted this last night by hand. And for the silver, I use plain old rub and buff. And I'm kind of liking it. The other thing that I did was also spray the satin clear can that you see in the background there on the chest and the back, but I did not spray it on the arms. I wanted to see if there's a difference, or if anybody can tell the difference on camera, the difference between the crystal clear and no crystal clear on the arms with the rub and buff just plain by itself. To me, I think I'm gonna have to wind up spraying the entire thing in crystal clear, if nothing else, to protect the details in the paint. As people handle it and stuff, they're gonna want to touch it and look at it. So I just don't want the paint and the details to rub off. So I think I'm gonna go that route in the interim. So this is what I got so far. I've also solved the problem of the top heaviness on the chest to control the domino effect when you do the tiptoe. So I'm hoping that that's going to solve that problem. I can't wait to try the mechanism once I put it all together. I'm waiting for some parts. I actually ordered a horn for the new actuator in the bottom that's actually metal instead of plastic. So it should also include some rigidity and make this model a lot stable on the top. But now that it's less heavy, I think I won't have any problems moving this thing side to side with the actuator and trying to perform the tiptoe on this robot without it coming apart. And I've already told you the story, and it's near and dear to me. So I try not to dwell on it too much, but I'm gonna just move forward. And look at the back. The back came out pretty sweet. I'm actually pretty happy with how it came out. I'm not gonna go ham on it and put 19 servos on this thing. That's just insane. But I am going to put some movement. I'm probably going to wind up putting maybe 10 servos, but 19, that's just insane, man. I can't do it. I just don't have the hardware to do it without having to use the ECB robot module that I got, which I have other plans for that. But I just want to get this project going and finished, and I'm going to use the Fly Sky controller with the chin channel servo motor thing and call it a day. So we'll see how that turns out. I just wanted to show you another update. As I promised, I will be doing that along the way so that people see where we're at with this thing. Another thing that I did last night is pick up this box so I can start organizing all of the screws and knickknacks that I've collected for this robot over the years. So once I start assembling this thing, I know where everything is, because right now I got things all over the studio, and I have to start finding and looking for the things that I put away 5 years ago when I was so upset with this model that I just had to toss it aside. So I digress. We're going to continue, and this is what I came up. I even got enough courage to actually use the sticker that I bought from the group a few years ago for this box, so that even looking for the box is like, once I see the sticker, I know that's for Johnny, and I'll be able to find my parts okay. That about wraps it up for this update. We'll see you around next time.